Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, just wanted to make sure my audio was up and running. Okay, everybody, welcome to the Friday night Murtathon, and we're going to get into unpacking a few things tonight. Uh, Timmy has been on something of a rampage, and so we're going to get into the little rampage, and uh, hello, everybody. And the one thing that Timmy did is he once again accused me of murder. And I'm going to play that in just a little bit. But I've always been an assassin, or something else. I mean, Tim keeps coming up with this stuff. But I want to show everybody Timmy Holmes says an example of Tim Holmes says incompetency. Now, Tim Holmes had stated on his blog that Neely Blanchard's attorney screwed up and said that Neely Blanchard was uh, not arrested on the date that he gave. Um, okay, where the hell is it? All right, I'm trying to find. I had that queued up, and all of a sudden it vanished. And maybe it's over here. Well, no matter. Um, anyway, I went through my research and found this little gem. Uh, Now, why I'm not finding I can't scroll it because I can't find the darn window. I know it's in here. I just love it when a plan doesn't come together. But let's see. Ah, there it is. Okay, now we're in business. Now, Tim Holmeseth made a big deal out of saying that Neely Blanchard was not arrested on the 20th of November. She was arrested on the 16th of November, as you can see up here, given to me on the state November 16th, 2020. This, however, is not an arrest. This is a warrant that was signed in Ocala. It's called a probable cause affidavit. And let me scroll up a little bit. And this is the document. And an affidavit was made on the 16th of November 2020. And this is where she was charged with murder, dangerous, depraved without premeditation. We then go down here. The warrant is a command to arrest INSTANTER and statter the above named Neely, Lauren, Ray, Passengill, Petrie, Blanchard. What a long freaking name. Given under my hand and seal the 16th November 2020 in Marion County, Florida. And this is signed by the judge. Received this document on the 16th of November AD 2020 and executed it on 16 November AD 2020. Arresting, serving They within named Neely Petrie Blanchard, and having her in custody, served on this day, 20th of November 2020. That is when Neely Blanchard was formally arrested. Up until this time, she had been in custody. She was originally stopped in Valdosta, Georgia on November 16th. She was detained, subject to extradition to Florida. She waived extradition. She came to Florida, and she is now residing in the jail awaiting trial. And so basically, Tim messed up. Now, we go down here, and this is the Florida CIC and National CIC warrant. And it's saying in the continental United States, and this was signed on the 16th. Probable cause affidavit. And this gives all the information. Occurrence took place at 9 o'clock p.m. on November 15th, 2020. Now, this was one of the first documents that came out of the court. And as you can see, M's Triple C case intake November 23rd, 2020. And her charge is felony homicide, murder, dangerous to parade without premeditation. Taken into custody based on a warrant and or previously submitted incident report. Probable cause, and it goes down through all of the charges and what happened here. On 11/15/2020, Marion County Sheriff's Office responded to 16062 Southwest 34th Court in reference to a report of a shooting. Upon arrival, deputies discovered eyewitness Shannon Tanis, white female, and juvenile Liliana LaFranca Tanis, white female, date of birth 1/6/2004, hiding in the back room of the residence. Deputies also discovered the victim, later identified as Christopher Hallett, white male, date of birth 12/22/69, obviously deceased from numerous gunshot wounds on the kitchen floor of the residence. Preliminary information indicated that the defendant, later identified as Neely Petrie Blanchard, white female, date of birth November 1996, apparently shot and killed the victim and fled the scene in a vehicle. Your affiant, and this word comes up, means the deputy. Oh, here we go. Task force has got to come in. Task force, why don't you go jump off a bridge or something? I mean, you're not wanted here. Um, while on scene, your affiant learned from deputies on scene that the victim was associated with and defendant was a client of his and that he was helping with child custody issues. Your affiant learned from deputies at the incident location the victim was apparently trying to help the defendant with a child custody case prior to this homicide. Your affiant conducted interviews at the scene and at MSCO operations with the aforementioned eyewitness. The following is a brief synopsis of the interviews. Eyewitness Shannon Tanis advised that she was in the residence that evening with the victim defendant and her daughter. She advised she was in her room and she heard a loud noise that she believed was a firecracker. Mrs. Tanis advised she then heard a second shot. She indicated that she came out into the living room and observed the victim near the kitchen, and he had a pained look on his face. She indicated the defendant was holding a black pistol consistent with a Glock with something bright yellow near the barrel. She advised that the defendant was in the common area of the residence holding the gun as if it was jammed and swiveled her body, aiming the gun at her and her daughter. So she grabbed her daughter and fled to the rear of the residence. Mrs. Tanis advised that she heard additional shots after this and called MSCO. Your affiant spoke with Juvenile, who advised that she was in her room when she heard a loud noise. Mrs. Tanis advised that she came out into the common area and observed the victim holding his shoulder with a pained look in his eyes. Mrs. Tanis advised the victim stated, "Oh shit, oh God, please no." Miss Tanis advised that she saw a bullet on the ground and saw the defendant pointing a gun at the victim. Mrs. Tanis advised that the defendant then swiveled her body towards her and her mother grabbed her and pulled her out of the room. Miss Tanis also advised that she heard the defendant state something to effect, "You are hurting my children, you bastard," and heard additional shots after leaving the room. During interviews with both Miss Tanis and Shannon Tanis, it was speculated that the victim was shot by the defendant due to her belief that the victim might have been working against her or working to assist the government in keeping the children away from her. Your affiant generated a photo lineup of the defendant, and Deputy Manchester administered the lineup with both parties. Both parties were able to positively identify the defendant as the person who shot the victim. On the morning of 11/16/2020, your affiant received notification defendant was located and detained by law enforcement in Lowndes County, Georgia. Based upon the totality of the circumstances, your affiant believes that probable cause exists to arrest the defendant for one count of murder and requests that the defendant be held without bond. And it goes on with some bureaucracies, but the gist of this is that Neely Blanchard was not formally arrested until November 20th, as correctly stated by her attorney. And so Timothy got it wrong, as he always does with these things. Now, we come to the next thing here. And I'm going to adjust this. Whoops, that ain't going to work. Okay, we go. Let me set this one up. Okay, now we're going to get into the good stuff. But yeah, Tim Holmseth made a big deal out of the um, okay, let me do this. Okay, this is the um, thing that Tim Holmseth put up today. And now he is accusing me of using a gun stolen from Phil McConnell's home to murder Chris Hallett. Before, he had stated that it was Shannon that murdered Chris Hallett. Now he changed his mind, although I never knew he had one. So, now let me see if I can format this. Oh, this is coming out better. This finally starting to get the hang of this thing. But anyway, here, I gotta minus this one. Well, you get too much or too little, so, okay. Now, one thing interesting about this, Tim Holmseth took content of mine off my, okay, I'm going to turn the audio off because he keeps stealing copyrighted material. And in the case of this video, that one song he plays all the time, that is a copyright violation. I don't feel like getting slapped with a copyright violation, so I cannot play the music. And it's just one of those things. But anyhow, let me go through this. Okay. Now, any of you who were around in September of 2020 know what Operation is and why it was created the way it was. But Tim Holmseth never seemed to figure that out, which is no surprise because he's not an investigative reporter. Anyway, we continue. All right, let's play. So he gives people time. Well, it's a good song and everything, but the problem is you can't, I can't use the video with sound because it's copyrighted. Oh, task force is back. Somebody block that idiot. She can't see, she doesn't understand the English language. And here we go. Now, I'm going to let the video play, and then I'm going to make a few comments here. Now, this is an important question. Keep this in mind. Because this is, and I'm still playing that stupid music. I can't put the sound on until, there we go. I'll know here in a minute. This particular video we're watching, this is when I went to Plum City, Wisconsin, and I came into the city, and of course I pulled over to take a picture of the sign. I'm like foreign tourists. I took pictures, and I took it for reference for any of my videos that I was going to make. Um, and there I am walking around with a t-shirt on in 50-degree weather in Wisconsin. Well, the only one responsible for what happened to Chris Hallett at the moment is both Chris Hallett for creating the situation and allegedly Neely for shooting him. Well, if the gun was stolen, that's a totally different dynamic, and that means that then she can be charged with possession of a stolen firearm, which is pretty serious. So it's bad for her no matter what. It's just you get into extra charges, and so this is what the Marion County Sheriff's going to be investigating, is getting all the details worked out. Um, all the electronic devices in the house were taken into discovery or taken to the sheriff's office to be forensically examined, and that's going on as we speak. Now, what at some point I would suspect that law enforcement is going to want to know where the gun came from. Okay, this is the right video. I had an edited version of this video, so this is just going to be the long version. Well, we won't know until the case goes to trial, because it'll come out at the trial where the gun came from. Well, that's a good question. We don't know whose gun was used, if it was Fields or somebody else's gun, if it was stolen, or where it came from. This is what the sheriff is going to have to determine, is where the gun came from and how she came to be in possession of it. The problem for her is that she had no business having a gun in the first place. She was not allowed to have a gun due to her past. So,
right now, the best thing that's going to happen is we're going to have to wait and find out where the gun came from. Uh, People have told me where they think it came from, and it's unverified information. So basically, we're going to have to wait and see where the case leads. Because the sheriff's department's going to investigate thoroughly all aspects of the case. They're going to interview people. It's going to go before a grand jury. The state attorney's going to handle it from there, and it's going to go to trial. So, right now, any information regarding the gun, I would take with a grain of salt. It's one of these things that we're going to have to wait and see just exactly what happens. Yeah, this all could have been prevented a long time ago by putting uh, Chris Hallett and the rest of these people in jail and putting a stop to E-Clause. But, you know, we're in the situation we're in now because of this malarkey that they've been doing on the internet. No, that's corn. They don't grow sugar cane in Minnesota up there.
Okay, one thing that is to be noted here is we have a Lincoln Continental and a big Ford pickup. This indicates that there are people here. Now, this is the point. No, you haven't busted me out. I knew when I put this video up there, you know, and this shows that you're a hypocrite because you are not calling out Tim Holmseth for any of his lies. So, you know, I'll accept that I was at the house with the permission of the bank. If you go back and check the court papers in Wisconsin, this house was in foreclosure. It also had a tax lien on it. That meant that Phil McConnell technically didn't own the house. It was in limbo. At any time, anyone could have come in and purchased the house, which is what allegedly Randy Erickson was trying to do. This is what Phil McConnell stated, is that Randy Erickson tried to get his house away from him. And it was his friend that paid off the mortgage and prevented the house going into foreclosure. So I don't care. You can brag all you want, Leonardo, but this does not change the fact that Timothy lied about everything. You know, you are holding me a standard that you will not hold Timmy to, which is what I expect from you people. I could have just as easily ignored this video and not put it up, but I put it up because I'm honest. Now let's move on. Now notice I didn't stop. I didn't go in the house. I kept on going. This is a loop around. Perfectly legal. Permission of the bank.
Yeah, it's a pity it didn't happen because, look at what's happened. The guy is dead because of this nonsense. and a woman is in jail, and all kinds of lives have been disrupted over this crap. This is not Ocala. This is Plum City. Uh, trying to get this video to stop.
Okay. Uh, Now, I'm going to have a few points here. First of all, the house was occupied. You can see the automobiles there. You can see that little thingamajiggy running into the lawn and everything. So we know that was there. So the point of all this is there were people occupying that residence. And here's another thing. Um, Now, at the time this video was made, Bill McConnell was in jail in Florida. He had been charged with a felony, and the felony means that Bill McConnell could not be in possession of any firearms. The firearms were removed from the residence by order of the court. So Mr. Holmseth lied about that. There's no way that anyone could have entered the house, gotten whatever firearms were there, or especially a Glock, and do whatever Tim Holmseth says was done. Now, here is something else that Tim Holmseth didn't think about when he came up with this video, and that's this. I flew to the state of Minnesota, and I went through airport security, did my thing while I was in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and North Dakota, and came back. I'll answer your question in just a minute, Rebecca, as I got to make this point. Um, but anyway, what happened here was that I didn't have a car. I didn't drive all the way up from Florida to Wisconsin. I also didn't drive from Wisconsin to Florida. I took an airplane. Matter of fact, it was a plane that's in the background. But there is something called the TSA, Transportation Administration, that runs security checks at all airports. So when I go into the airport, I have to take my shoes off, take my belt off. I got to empty all my keys out of my pocket, all my cell phones got to go on the conveyor. My laptop and my tablet had to go on the conveyor, and all my backpack and my carry-on had to go on the conveyor. And if there's something in there that concerns TSA, they will pull the bag aside, do a secondary inspection on the bag to see what's in there. Now, I had all kinds of camera equipment in both bags. And so that would possibly have drawn attention to the TSA and they would have thoroughly inspected. Guess what? No gun. My suitcase that I checked, my large suitcase, also had equipment and my clothes in it. That went downstairs. And again, it's scanned with specialized equipment by the TSA, and it is also opened if there is something in there of any concern. So, if there had been a gun in my luggage, it would have been detected. Now, I would like Tim Holmsat to explain how that gun would have magically gotten from Wisconsin to Florida. I would love to hear his explanation for this. Now, we come to the interesting part. Neil McConnell house is, I believe, a 5-bedroom house. Living room, bathroom, dining room, office, cellar with a complete apartment in it, so on and so forth. Well, I don't know. Yeah, they checked everything, John. Yeah, assassin camera. I love it. Uh, so, okay, yeah, I'll get to that in a minute, Tennessee. These questions are starting to stack up. But Tim Holmseth is saying that I risk going burglarizing a house without knowing anything about the inside of the house. I didn't know if there was a gun safe in the house. I wouldn't know what the weapons are. This is a big house. Where is the gun? How am I going to find the gun? What about the ammunition? And again, how am I going to get the gun to Orlando? Yeah, I'm sure he's going to come up with some weird conspiracy theory, but you just can't explain it because the security is so tight on firearms in this country that it would be next to impossible. Also, here's this nifty little fact. If any of Phil McConnell's guns would have been used to kill Chris Hallett, the ballistics would show up. The styrations, all sorts of things are going to show up on that firearm to trace it back to Phil McConnell. If it's a registered firearm, it's an easy matter to find out who owns the gun. And it would sure raise a whole hell of a lot of red flags if the gun that was found anywhere is any of Phil McConnell's guns. You're not going to find any. Uh, the yellow tip gun, I'm not too clear on what the deal is. Uh, normally, what they do with a yellow tip gun is they presume it's a fake. Now, I'm not sure about that. And task force just will not stay away. This is um stalking, gaslighting, whatever you want to call it. What about the receipt for warrants from the congressional auditors? The receipt was tampered with. Nobody has satisfactorily explained why portions of that were deleted. And as far as all this other annulment stuff, it's baloney. There is no such thing. There is no annulments that have to do with any of this. It's just baloney that you and Timmy make up. Yeah, Task Force thinks the murder of Chris Hallett's a big joke. Of course, there's going to be some stuff coming out soon that's going to answer a lot of questions about the relationship between um, Chris Hallett and Neely Blanchard. And Timmy is not going to like it. And this is why Timmy is doing this. I think Timmy knows what I have coming and he's not going to like it. It's one of the reasons I was up in um and there is this, let me see if I can bring this in because this is the next thing to look at. And again, Timothy Charles Homeseth refuses to link to my live stream. Task Force is a fraud. It's worthless. Nothing is coming. You're just shooting your mouth off because you're desperate for attention. Yes, I did, Paula. Um, okay, now somebody asked a question about the cars. All the cars you saw in that film belonged to Field McConnell. The pickup truck is his. The Lincoln Continental is a car that he drives all the time. It is alleged that that is the car that Kirk Pendergrass was joyriding around in while they were staying at the house. Now, let me see if I can get this in here because this is another gem. Now, Timmy put this up on his BitChute. I don't know why Task Force doesn't stay away. She knows she's violating um, YouTube rules by being in here. Tennessee Lights, I did not mean to block you. I hit the wrong button. And I don't know how to unblock you. So you may have to sign off and sign back in again. Well, I'll tell you what, Task Force, why don't you buy me one? You seem to be so concerned about my life here in Florida and you're so damn wealthy, why not buy me an air conditioner since I can't get a job and buy one on my own? Okay, you're back. For some reason, I accidentally blocked you, but you're back. So I don't know how the hell I meant to block the dingbat that insists on trespassing in here. But deputies monitoring Timothy Charles Homeseth news coverage of the trial. Well, it is true that they are monitoring Timothy's channel. They're doing it because they're laughing at him. And also, it is not only the deputies, it is the FBI that is monitoring Tim Homeseth and the Florida State Attorney's Office. And the reason why the Florida State Attorney has filed is following the case is because of the visit that I made today. And let's see if I can find where is that? I had it up earlier. But yeah, I wish somebody would explain this. Um, I'm trying to find the. But anyway, if I'm not going to be able to find it. But Randy Lynn Erickson is said to have contacted the Florida State Attorney and said that Neely Blanchard had evidence that she will not, or gave Randy Erickson this evidence, and that Randy will not hand it over to the state attorney's office until Neely Blanchard signs a release allowing her to do so. And the problem with that is this is withholding evidence in a murder trial. You cannot do that. And so I went to the state attorney's office after calling them, and we discussed a few things, one of which the statement that Randy Erickson is alleged to have given to the state attorney, of which no one has been able to find the call. But now the state attorney is aware of it because I have given them the materials. I gave them these articles that are on Timmy's blog and on Timmy's uh, BitChute and on Timmy's uh, other channels. And I said, you may want to talk to Randy Erickson and Tim Homeseth, interview the both of them, and find out what this evidence is that they say they have. Now, there is a laptop involved. Neely Blanchard owned a laptop, and I do not know uh, where that laptop is. I haven't found it in Discovery yet. So maybe Randy has Neely Blanchard's laptop, and that is withholding evidence. That's unlawful possession of evidence. So, task force, while you're gaslighting this channel, why don't you call up Randy Erickson and ask her to turn that information over to the state attorney's office? So, no, you're stupid, task force, and you're about to find this out. The military does not investigate civil criminal cases. You are the one that is stupid. There is no military. And so you're just coming in here and shooting off bullshit. The image you're using, by the way, is stolen. That was taken from the Department of Defense photo archives. And so you're violating another copyright, which is par for the course. Tim Homeseth is a plagiarist, and he proves it every day from some of the stuff he puts on the internet. And let's go into this. And I got to make sure this is muted because he keeps putting copyrighted music in there. Okay. Yeah, this is another one of his ditzy conspiracy theories. Um, that there's something suspicion about these two cops, one happening to be the brother of the other one. It is quite common in families for police officers to go into law enforcement. One happens to be a deputy in Ocala, where this case happens. The other is a deputy sheriff in the state of Georgia. Now, it's not that big of a coincidence because um, I 75 is the logical um, route for people to take that are going from Ocala, Florida, 75 or to Georgia. Because you go, Bill McConnell's house is 6 miles from um, Chris Hollis' house. And so she goes up to 75, gets on 75, shoots up the road, crosses the border into Georgia, which is about the range for that particular brand of vehicle since I own one just like it. It gets about 300 miles, 250, 300 miles on a tank of gas. And so she stopped to get gas, and guess what? There's a bolo out on her. And every cop in the continental United States has a laptop, and bolos come over the laptop. And so here comes a bolo for a black Ford Escape with E-Clause plates on it. And boom, you know, easy pleasy. Well, you call me twisted, but look at Tim Holmseth, what he's doing. He's got me being Whitey Bulger. He's accusing me of the murder of Chris Allen. He's got me murdering two teenagers. He's got me doing all sorts of things, and I'm just supposed to sit there and let him lie about me. Ain't gonna happen, task force. You know, Timmy was told 5 years ago, leave me alone. But he can't, he's not capable of doing it. He needs attention. He's trying to divert people away from something he's scared of. And from talking to the state attorney's office today, I have a pretty good idea what's going on. And it all comes to Neely Blanchard. I think Neely Blanchard is going to be the downfall of Tim Holmseth. You may not want to believe it, but that's it. You can come in here and shoot your mouth off, but that's it. And how come, task force, every time I block you, you come back? I'm not understanding. Do you have a whole bunch of accounts in the background just waiting to come back in? You know, you've been told not to come in here, and yet you keep coming in here. What is it with your obsession with this channel? Seems to me you are the twisted one. Now let's get back to business. So, gonna get back on this gun thing again because Tim Holmseth apparently doesn't read things. When Neely Blanchard was pulled over in Lowndes County, Georgia, she had a gun on her, a Glock. That's where the gun is. It's been recorded. They've traced the serial numbers. They know who had owned the gun and how Neely came to be in possession of the gun. This is all going to come out in court. And this is what is going to screw up Timmy because all this stuff is going to come out in court. And also, they are going to have all this discovery that I have just wound up getting from from the state attorneys in court, all of it. And Kirk Pendergrass is going to be appearing. And I've just learned that this is breaking news. There is a new witness in the case. I'm waiting for the document to be released. but there is a new witness, brand new witness that is going to be testifying for the defense, I believe. I'm going to bring up um, the um, the listing, and uh, Randy had the gun, and it really shouldn't be a surprise where she got it. It's, this has been out there and people have forgotten about it, but I am going to. Why are you still in here, Task Force? Explain this to me. Of course, Task Force will never answer. Task Force came right back in again. And she's violating YouTube rules. It looks like I'm going to have to write YouTube again and tell them that this account keeps attacking this page. You know, no means no. I mean, you must believe that a woman can get raped because you don't believe in no. You've been told for years not to come in here, and yet here you are. You're gaslighting this channel, you're stalking this channel, you keep coming in here, and I don't get it. I mean, why aren't you over on Telegram? Why aren't you on True Social? Why aren't you over on BitChute? Why are you here? I don't understand these people. Jesus. But you can't reason with these people. They are dishonest, immoral, and crooked people. Well, she's not distracting me, she's actually helping me prove. Now, what came out today, this is the 21st, is response and notice of intent to utilize additional witness regarding notice of insanity. And this document is under lock along with the supplemental discovery exhibit. I'm waiting for these files to be released so that I can bring them on this channel. And it's like the 17th entry of notice of filing. This was given, this was unlocked today. So we're looking at 4 days that it took to get this material to me. So, and so, this, now how did I do this before? Okay, on the 15th of May, they are going to start selecting the jury for the trial. And from there, I'm not sure when the actual trial is going to start, but they're going to start the jury selection on May 15th. So, yeah, it's getting close. Yeah, if they had followed proper procedure, they could have gotten Field McConnell out of jail quite easily. But, they screwed up. And at this time, Phil McConnell did not have an attorney. It was all being done through uh, somebody. It wasn't done by a bar attorney. That did not happen until his son got involved and got him a proper attorney, and that didn't happen until he got to Florida. So basically, it would appear that Kirk Pendergrass was responsible for um, Bill McConnell being in Florida and basically in jail in Florida, awaiting for this thing to happen. So and there's a lot of things coming out. Dang it. I figured out how to do this before. Oh, here we go. All right, so let me go back down here. I want to read, see. We go back down to November 2020. Okay, first appearance order. Okay, she was ordered to appear on the 21st. This is the arraignment where the charges were read, which she signed. Bench warrant process November 20th. So again, that is arrest on and after the 20th. Let me get up to discovery exhibit number 1 because that's a good question. Okay. Consent to collect saliva standards signed by Shannon Tennis for comparison to suspect DNA. Okay, so they took DNA from the witness. Consent to search cellular phone and other storage media signed by Shannon Terrace for red case Samsung Galaxy owned by the decedent on November 16th. Consent, okay. Consent to collect saliva from the child. Consent to search cell phone and or storage area assigned to the Tannises, as apparently there's 2 phones. Incident detail report, MCO, uh, evidence list, autopsy report for Christopher Hallett, CD of autopsy uh, photographs for Chris Hallett, search warrant for the house, photograph of Shannon Tannis, Christopher Hallett, and Neely Blanchard. Indictment, warrant, probable cause, all probable stuff. And all the body cam evidence, which I have, audio interview, which I have, aerial video 2, aerial video lineup, Verizon, Petrie Blanchard, recorded three-way call with Kathy Watson and Deputy Self. Recorded call with Kathy Watson. Another recorded call with Kathy Watson. Whoever the hell that is. Recorded call between Deputy Marshal Self and Jamie Krugs. Interviews. Interview of Shannon Tanis. Interview Tamika. Cell phone screenshots. Thumb drive from small red one, whatever that is. CD. Digital images of Ford Escape. Images of scene walkthrough. Thumb drive. Phone extraction. 2 photo lineups. Images of the scene. Okay, where am I? MSCO item number 80, Georgia property evidence from redacted detective LIGHTLE. Items from brown leather legal case folder with documents. Passenger side compartment of Ford Escape vehicle. Courtyard by Marriott receipt for room for November 12th and 13th for Neely Petrie Blanchard with business record certification. This hotel is at the intersection of Highway 200 and I-75. So she was about 10 or 15 minutes from the house. Crime scene log, evidence, documents from lime green bolt with paperwork, and small bookcase on wall in nook area. Envelope from wall in living room. So that was this discovery. And so we go back. Exhibit 2. Neely Blanchard video visit with Susan Blanchard. Certified warrant for Neely Blanchard from Logan County, Kentucky for case 20F99 for kidnapping, minor and custodial interference, felony and indictment for case number 20 CR 325 for custodial interference and persistent felony offender, second degree. So Neely would have been indicted for these crimes had she not murdered Chris Hallett. And there's just a mountain of this stuff. So 58. Defendant admitted to being in possession of a firearm to Deputy Tooney and or Trooper Holland. Defendant made anti-government and anti-law enforcement statements to Trooper. Defendant told Jamie Grubbs that she had to stop the defendant because he was abusing her children, and see recording a full statement. Defendant made a statement to Kathy Watson that victim had been shot in Sandon, and her daughter were in the back during the shooting. In 2012, defendant told her mother, Susan Blanchard, "Don't fuck with me or my kids. I will shoot you in the head. I will cut you into little pieces and I will put you where you will never be found." That from Nellie Blanchard to her mother. Uh, no, what had happened, you know, I put this shirt on because if you look at the video, I wore the same shirt in Plum City. I actually got this thing at Goodwill. Um, I feel like a sideways sign up there, but Nerd's busy. Yeah, I was reading off the discovery. Uh, there are over 100 exhibits in this um, thing. But the gun was taken from Nellie Blanchard in Georgia and returned to the state of Florida. It is one of the pieces of evidence in the case. And it is eventually, I got to go through all this. FDLE lab report. Sort of, okay, there's a lab report. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, let's see what this one is. I'm going through the entire history of this thing. There's somewhere in here. Well, I'm going to research this for a future broadcast. But um, Marion County has the gun. They've identified as to who owns the gun. And Nellie Blanchard stated where the gun came from. And that will be coming up in a future interview. There are a lot of interviews here. They are going to be coming after the body cams. There's about 4 or 5 different body cams. The thing I cannot work out right now is how I'm going to put these up. They are 2 hours. There's a number of these that are 2 hours long a piece, and the bulk of it is deputies walking around in the dark. And so I may have to edit it so that um, this is not going to be a boring thing, and it may take me longer. And because of that, I may shift the order of my presentation. I may be putting the interviews up ahead of the um, body cam footage because it's just there's too many body cam images right now to put them all in one live stream. They're going to have to be, I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do with all these body cams. I've spent hours watching and listening to these things, and it's a lot to go through, but I'm going to go through them and I'm going to see what to do with them. So, well, they're going to accuse me of anything anyway, John. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's accuse, accuse, accuse. They accuse me of being Whitey Bulger. They accuse the both of us of having something to do with the Delphi murder. They are actually praying for a pedophile, which is astonishing. Why on earth would Tim Holmseth pray for a pedophile? Yeah, I still can't get over that. The thing that this guy is accused of doing, and they're actually praying for him. The guy lived within walking distance of the crime scene. He worked at a drugstore that's across the street from the parking lot. I mean, if you look at the map of Delphi, Indiana, where this guy worked and where this bridge is, it's no surprise. And then you had this other idiot um, that's awaiting arraignment for, uh, I think it's like 30 or 40 counts of possession of child pornography and all this other stuff. Good night, Paula. Thank you for checking in. Hope everything's going well with you and Field. Um, Still waiting for that broadcast, so if it ever comes to fruition, let me know so I can listen to it. So, so it's, this Calvin Klein or whatever the hell his name is. But, and Ashley Cooper's been drawn into this because they said that she speculated that Tanis may have killed Chris Hallett. I mean, this is, it's a conspiracy theory. And she soon backed off of it. We never were, John. Yeah. It's just, again, it's just something Timothy made up. Uh, okay, so just Ashley Cooper is on the blog. And I'm surprised he hasn't put anything up new by now. And there's people over there. Um, this evil destroyer, which we already know, doesn't seem to understand that Field McConnell has been released from probation. He's free to go on the air. He's not going to get violated if he mentions Tim Holmseth or anybody else. So he's free to do what he wants, and that was made clear in 9 Ways to Sunday. There was actually a hearing about it, and Randy Holmseth appeared there. She was on the Zoom call. I'd say, there you are. That's Randy Olmseth. She was at the hearing remotely. So she heard that Field McConnell is no longer bound by the court. He can do whatever he damn well pleases. He can even get all his guns back. So, well, John, what they're, that's what is going on. But the thing of it is, um, he claims everybody shot Field. I think we must have had a firing squad or something, and all three of us shot him because he's got Shannon shooting Field McConnell or shooting Chris Allen. He's got me shooting Chris Allen, and I don't know. There's so many people involved in this thing. I can't make sense of it all. Uh, he's not consistent. He's all over the map with this stuff, and but he is not an investigative reporter. He is certainly no journalist. He's a fraud. He's a cheat. He's going around committing wire fraud with all these donations that he's getting because he's claiming to be something he's not. Um, and I don't know why this guy is getting away with this crap, but he is. And let's see, just for the shits and giggles, let's do the latest on the car. Well, the car is at 11,731, and one day ago, $100. So he's at $1,788 this month towards his car. And it's this other one here. Live to tell, he's at $17,755 with the last donation made 11 hours ago by Jeannie. So, the money is just pouring in. Money, 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 money. This guy is making money hand over fist on bullshit. It's amazing. It's incredible how stupid people are that they believe this nonsense. But these are desperate, lonely people. They have to have something to believe in. And so they come up. And let's see what else. And another donation drive to writeintoaction.com. That was an older one. I don't know if he's making. Um, that's a good question. I can't believe it. I can't believe people would throw away these money, this their money like this. He has got these people brainwashed. It's amazing. Yeah, it's a hell of a way to make a living. Anybody that says honesty is the best policy need to have their head examined because it seems like lying, there's good money in it. And the thing of it is he came out and criticized all these mega churches for doing the exact same thing. There's a preacher out there that wanted a Cadillac because he's got to be able to spread the message. Tim Holmseth wants a $40,000 car. Jeez Christ. And he's got a perfectly good car because he keeps running around the country in it. Right today, he was driving that same car around. And I'm rather suspicious because you don't see um, him on camera. You don't see the car. You don't see the camera or him driving around in it anymore. Uh, they bring back old video, and that's it. Who's MM? So, you know, that's where we're at tonight. Just more baloney. And then, of course, they got Daniel Lee. He's running around being an idiot. He's at the University of Arizona. How quaint. But the one thing that did come out today is there is no record of any phone call with the Marion County State Attorney. Well, they transferred the murder suspect in the Delphi case because he didn't like his jail. Uh, Down the hill was captured by murder victim Liberty German. Yeah, this case is turning into a quagmire. So this is going to be another Casey Anthony case. This is going to be all screwed up. So anyway, I think I'm going to call it a night, folks. I'm a buck and a quarter into this. It's 11:29 Eastern. I have a early wheels up. Um, so well, she hasn't provided a recording of the call. She records everything, but surprise, surprise, no call. This is the thing. These people are always wanting to prove stuff, but no recording of the call. Why is that? Because there was no call. No proof of a call, so there's no call. And remarkably quiet. Let's see, I didn't bring my other phone in, so I'll have to. Oh, yes, I did. Oh, looks like we got a new person come in. I'm just going to do one last check before I'm done for the night. I want to see if Fart by Truth. Well, not much going on in the world of the grifters. So, surprise, surprise. But, give it time. He'll come up with something else. He always does. Anyway, appreciate you guys hanging around. Um, Please like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and share. And I will be bringing out more of the Discovery as soon as I edit them. I will put up a pre video uh, of what's going to be my final decision on that and what part two, part three, and so forth are going to be. But like I said, I think I'm going to switch rotation and save the body cam footage for a little bit later. There's not really much there. One body cam footage is almost the same as the call because while she was on the phone with 911, the deputy was running around looking for her, and you can hear the call in the background. And there's some of the body cam where she is being interviewed by the deputy uh, once she is extracted from the house. So thank you for tuning in. Again, like, share, and all that other stuff. And have a good one. We'll see you in the days to come. Bye bye.